What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for coming back for another episode of DIY Amateur Hour. Today we're just going to give a brief overview of the two cars that we picked up in the last episode. If you haven't figured it out yet or you haven't seen the previous episode, I picked up two Pontiac Fieros. They're from the 80s. They were only made from 84 to 88. The two that you're going to see today are both 87s, GTs. They're fully optioned and standard transmissions. I'm not saying that fully optioned was a whole lot back then, because it's mostly just sunroof, power windows, power locks, and power mirrors. Those of you who understand what these cars are, or even those of you who don't, may be wondering, why do a Pontiac Fiero, a car that was only built for 4 years, 5 years technically, back in the 80s? Well, here's the thing. Could have done Camaros, could have done Mustangs, could have done Trans Am, could have found a cheap Corvette, could have done a Jetta, for those of you Jetta fans out there hating on my cars. But Fieros are the only mid-engined American car. The Corvair was rear-engined. So for that, and that alone, is why my buddy and I got into Fieros. They're unique, they're different, and they're old enough where you don't see them on the roads anymore. So that's what we're dealing with. Check out the cars. So that brings us to this car. This is an 87 GT. As you can see, at one time it used to be red, but it's sat outside for at least a little while, and it's pretty faded from the sun. The clear coat's pretty gone. There's no damage on any of the panels whatsoever. It's just the clear coat is toasted. This car does run and drive. I replaced the slave cylinder for the clutch, and I put in a new battery, and it started right up, which was kind of crazy because it's been sitting since at least 2012. So 5 years, give or take, and started like it had ran yesterday. Alright, YouTube, we're down here in the garage working on the orange Fiero that I just showed you guys. So far, all I've done, I added a little brake fluid, clutch fluid to the clutch master cylinder because it was dry. Haven't bled it yet, so we'll need that. And I've replaced the battery, just got some cheapo battery at Pep Boys. But I recently, about 10 seconds ago, before I ran upstairs to grab the camera, cranked it up a little bit. Didn't turn over, but it sounded like it really wanted to. So ran upstairs, got the camera. We're gonna try and start it real quick, so here we go. This will be the first time I've ever started a Fiero that I own. Big deal for me. So this car does run and drive. Like I said, I replaced a couple parts, and it'd be fine for a daily driver. But when I took it for the first test drive, I didn't notice that my camera fell from where I placed it. So you get about 3.5 seconds worth of driving. So, brief overview of the car, for those of you who know Fieros and even those of you who don't. The quarter window is in decent shape. I think it's original, but it's in decent shape. These taillights are just about perfect, these GT taillights. It's got a little bit of delamination here, but I'm not super worried about that. Other than that, these taillights are just about perfect. I could wet sand them and buff them for a little bit extra detail, but that's not high on the priority list. As you can see, it had a wing. The wing broke off, so that's that. It had this other quarter window here, but that flew off on the interstate. So that's that. Interior is very 80s. I cleaned it all up. It was fairly dusty and gross in here, but this is the passenger side. You can see how decent and clean everything is. Yeah, that's the passenger side. You can see more sun fading over here. You can see how faded the roof is. But you can also see underneath where the wing was, how it's not faded at all. I don't know how well the color is going to show up in the terrible lighting in here, but that's that. So over here on the driver's side, again, we're going back into the very dated and 80s interior. You got your Fiero GT 3-spoke steering wheel, which seems to be in decent shape. Center console has seen better days. It's a little faded, but I did clean it up some. And you got your 5-speed shifter here with an aftermarket Pioneer radio. AC works. And you got your very 80s instrument cluster here. So we'll start it up. Not going to go anywhere because it's raining out. And this car's not registered or insured. But whatever. So, just like that.